This episode of Walt Disney World Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel. MEI and Mousefan Travel specialize in cruises and vacation packages to Disney and other destinations around the world. MEI and Mousefan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner and the recommended travel planner for allears.net. They provide their signature services with no additional agency fees. So, to get a no-obligation quote, why don't you just visit www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, December 12th, 2007, and this is episode 343 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Len Testa, who is the co-author of the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
Happy Wednesday, Matt. How's it going?
Outstanding.
Excellent.
Also joining us is Chris Aliopoulos of MiseryLovesSherman.com. Welcome back, Chris.
Happy Hump Day, everybody.
That's all right. It's all the Wednesday references we could squeeze into one show.
Exactly. There's only 2, right?
I think we nailed them. It is Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. And we're going to start with Jay Kibler in Virginia, who's known as JWDW Dream in VA on WDWToday.com. Hoorah! Gentlemen, long-time listener, love the podcast, Narcoossee's, Dinosaurs, Scope is Right, Mangello, etc., etc. I just want to let all know that I listen to Studio Central and Mouse World Radio both 24 hours a day and have the latest copy of the unofficial guide, ding, in my pocket at all times, and I'm currently rereading all of the Scoping the Park columns for the 54th time. Can you say stalker? Just kidding. Very nice. But now to my question, which is probably a stupid one, but I was wondering if there had ever been any thought given to asking people with date-sensitive questions to put the dates of their trip in the subject of the email. That way, the ever-so-busy host could scan through the emails before opening them and get to the ones that are 2 weeks away before the ones for 2010. Just a thought. It's a good idea, but then, of course, there's always the potential for people just to abuse the system and people who send in their questions well in advance not to get their questions answered until way later. So we figured the easiest way is to just do a bad job of answering questions and answer them as we get to them.
However, I think if you just didn't answer the ones who put in a false date in the subject, you would quickly find that people would not abuse the system. That might be a solution, actually.
I'll have to consider that. Jay also writes, nothing says Van Halen reunion concert venue like Disney's Pop Century Resort. There's the proof that I'm old school.
Rock on, man.
Next email is from Lou of the Walt Disney World Memories podcast. He writes, Matt, it's Lou from the Walt Disney World Memories podcast. Just wanted to comment on Brian from New Jersey's question, episode 341, where Brian wanted to know about if fireworks music is piped into the Magic Kingdom Resort restaurants during the hard ticket parties. Short and sweet, they piped the music into Ohana for the Christmas fireworks last year. There's a good story behind this with a couple of magical moments. If you care to read it below, we don't. But Chris, I mean Lou, if you want to post it in the shout out, it's old, it's long, so I can't really take the time to read it all. But you can.
We don't care.
We don't. Sorry, we don't care about your magical memories.
Way to take the listeners' feelings into consideration there. Nice, Hochberg, nice.
I know, we're always looking to build long-lasting relationships with our listeners here at WDW Today.
You know what? We need to. I was thinking about this because I was thinking about you this weekend.
Oh, thank you.
And what we need here is some sort of corollary to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. We need Donald's Happy Hanukkah celebration or something. We need Goofy's Kwanzaa blowout or something like that.
There you go.
Then it could be like, Minnie's Ramadan.
Yeah, they're really delineate those holidays. You really get down to it. It's like Arbor Day with Chip and Dale.
Disney has a huge potential here to market not only to other religions and to promote diversity, but to continue the trend of having every single day the Magic Kingdom closed early for a hard ticket.
It's not a bad marketing idea.
Exactly.
Next email's from Kevin from Tampa, who writes, hey guys, love the show. Been listening from the start. Recently, I stayed at Disney's Caribbean Resort. I only stayed there for one night, but I fell asleep before I was able to use the extra Magic Hours perk. Now I have a premium annual pass, and I still have my resort card. I was just curious of how they let people in for extra Magic Hour for evenings or mornings. Do you put your resort key in a machine like you do to the front, or do they just look at it and see if it's good? How does that all work out? And would I be able to participate in extra magic hours if I just have a pass and a resort card? Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work.
So they've got these handheld things that look like credit card scanners, and they swipe your card.
Yep.
Prior to giving you a bracelet. So no, you wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah, they kind of look like those kind of scanners they have at stadiums. I don't want to go to baseball games. When you have your ticket, they scan the barcode on your ticket, and that kind of lets them know that you're there. And it's the same kind of looking device.
You can only do it once, type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Next email is from. Who is this from? It's from Mouse Worshipper, who writes, on multiple occasions in the past, my family has considered playing putt-putt at Winter Summerland or Fantastic Gardens in Disney World.
Fantasmic. Fantasia Gardens.
Well, I knew it started with an F. Is our quandary worth it, or are they just two mini golf courses that waste an afternoon?
No, I think they're both very, very fun. I've played them. I've played them all. I think Winter Summerland is much easier than Fantasia Mini Golf. I mean, by a factor of like 10. And I think of the two, I think I forget which one it was. If you're facing the course, one is to your left and one is to your right. The one on the right, and I forget which one it is much easier than the other. And I think it's the Summerland. Of course, the Winterland one is the harder of the two, but still they're easy enough for kids to play. Now, Fantasia Mini Golf, on the other hand, is supposedly one of the most difficult miniature golf courses in the United States, and it's also the longest miniature golf course.
Qualify that?
Par, actually. I mean, I shot more than 100 on it, and I didn't even finish. It's impossible. It's as difficult as a regular golf course without all the walking and drinking beer.
Thing always got you? Is that what it was?
No. They've got there's not a straight line to be had in the entire course. If there's actual sand,
you can't do your mathematical things and just.
There's no ricocheting. It's all out of bounds.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So there's very little ricocheting, but it's all the stuff that's out of bounds. They've got simulated water hazards, simulated sand traps. They've got.
There's even guys on the corner whispering while they're doing the play-by-play while you golf.
Exactly. Someone runs by and steals your ball. No, but I think I stopped after like 15 holes, and I was well above 100 in scoring. I mean, to the point where I just gave up. And I was trying to replay the holes multiple times. It's really hard to get out of there on any hole with less than a 6. So.
And your daughter beat you, right?
No, I wouldn't bring Hannah over there. There's actually 2 courses there. I wouldn't bring kids to it. It's way too difficult.
Next email's from Kelly Colland of Antioch, California, who writes, our next trip is going to be in January 2009 when my 21-year-old son and I are going to run our first endurance race, the half marathon. During that time, we will have 6 of us there. Could you tell us more about the family suites at the All-Stars? We're thinking about staying there, and if so, is there a specific building we should request to be close to the main building?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, where's Scopa? I think they're converting. Is it the entire Calypso building that's being converted over to suites?
I know it's in the music section at All-Star. It has the suites. I'm not sure which building it is.
It's definitely music, and my understanding is it was Calypso. In terms of getting the preferred room, I think we've talked about this before. You're saving like a 50-yard walk for $10. I don't think it's worth, unless you've got some serious
podiatry issues.
I mean, unless you've got some serious mobility issues, I don't think that $10 is worth it.
No, I agree. You can get I know what it is in sports. I think Jazz is the next closest building that isn't preferred at music.
It's in music, yeah. So
yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about the preferred location. In terms of the suites, I mean, there's a regular bed, and then there's couches and chairs that fold out into beds. So there's a bed in one room, and then there's couches and chairs that convert into sleepers.
Do you think a group of 6 could fit there, Len, comfortably?
It depends. Did she say what the 6 were? Is it kids?
Well, there's her, an adult, and a 21-year-old son, and 4 other people, and she doesn't mention who the other 4 are. So,
the way that we put the way that we put it in the guide is that we wouldn't want to put any adults in those sleeper beds. At least any adults that we wanted to remain friends with. So probably no on that. But I mean, it depends. I mean, some people could sleep on a freaking rock and be happy with it. So it depends on how people are. I mean, I'd be happy to sleep on the couch the way it is, and I would be fine with it. So it depends on I guess your perspective on that. Other people just can't get by unless they're sleeping on an actual bed.
Kelly also wants to know, also, is there a bar at the All-Star Resorts with evening entertainment? At Riverside, they had a great piano player, Bob, who was pretty awesome. I'm hoping there's something similar at All-Stars. There is a bar. It's over by the pool, the main pool, which is attached to the food court over there. But that's about it. I mean, it's just a...
It's not like the Pop Century, which actually has a bar.
Yeah, no, this isn't even a bar. This is like it's outdoors. It's a little, it kind of looks like a ticket booth at a subway station with chairs on the outside of it, and you can just sit down there and grab a drink by the pool. Your only entertainment, I guess, is the gaudy decor and the comments from other people around you, because that's about it. It's not like a Riverside. And again, this is a small difference, I think, between a value resort and a moderate resort.
If you have enough to drink at the bar, you'll have no problem with the sleeping arrangements. Everybody pass down the floor.
That's right. With enough drinks, all your problems are solved. Next email's from Karen from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. He writes, "Good day, gentlemen, and anyone else who might be guest hosting today's podcast." Oh, she knew you were going to be on, Chris.
Exactly.
Clairvoyant.
Thank you for your most informative and entertaining show. My husband and I are heading back to Walt Disney World on December 8th for our third trip. Welcome back.
Hope you had a good trip.
Yeah. We were late starters, but are trying to make up for it. We are returning in December as we find this to be a wonderful time to visit with Christmas decor on full display. I have two questions. First, what are the transportation suggestions for visiting the Magic Kingdom resorts, Wilderness Lodge, Polynesian, Grand Floridian, to see the Christmas decor? We are staying at Port Orleans French Quarter and will be using Disney transportation. We're thinking of busing the Magic Kingdom, then taking the boat to Wilderness Lodge, then going back to the Magic Kingdom, then using the monorail to Polynesian. Does this make sense? Can we walk from the Polynesian to the Grand Floridian? Okay, so if you want to go see Wilderness Lodge, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian, and you're using Disney transportation, what's the best way of doing it?
I would take the bus from Port Orleans to the Magic Kingdom, and either the boat or the bus to the Wilderness Lodge, then back from the Wilderness Lodge to the Magic Kingdom, and then I would monorail it.
Yeah, that's just as Karen has suggested, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you can definitely walk from the.
You can walk, but it's kind of a long walk, isn't it? You gotta walk.
Enough.
You gotta walk from the Apollo. You're gonna pass by the wedding area.
Yeah, I mean it's like a 10 or 12-minute walk, but it's still pleasant enough to walk. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit longer than the walk from the Polynesian to the Ticket and Transportation Center. That's a quick walk. But at any rate, Karen also wants to know: do the Osborne lights run during extra Magic Hour evenings at the studios? And as far as I know, the answer is yes. They keep those bad boys on.
There you go.
They even keep them on about 30 minutes beyond the park closing, in case people want to try them out. I just did this on my recent trip.
Cool.
After the park closed, and it was on for a good 30 minutes, so
good.
Enjoy. Next email is from Susan Lindsay, who writes, "What are the guidelines for Halloween costumes for the Halloween party? We have 3 children ages 5, 7, and 9, and will be attending soon. Specifically, do parents need to dress up? Can children wear non-Disney oriented costumes? Do we need to bring our own trick-or-treating bags? What kind of treats are provided? We have a child with tree nut, egg, and sesame allergies."
Tree nut, egg, and sesame. I don't think they're giving away tree nuts, eggs, or.
Yeah, the hard-boiled eggs really didn't go over too well last year when they tried to give those bad boys away.
Well, no, I mean I don't think any of the food is like sesame. No, I don't think. So what was the first question on the costumes?
Yeah, well, do parents need to dress up? The answer is no. You don't have to dress up.
No one needs to dress up.
Can children bring non-Disney oriented costumes?
Depends on what you mean by Disney oriented. If you mean like Shrek or Scooby-Doo, sure, no problem. If you mean Freddy Krueger with bloody head on a stick or something like that, maybe not.
Well, the funny thing is, even about that, I was thinking when non-Disney, I was thinking a lot of the costumes out there are very risque, if you say.
I mean, it's Disney. Is it Disney oriented? Do we mean family oriented, family theme park oriented, or do we mean like characters not from the Disney Corporation? I think in the former case, the answer is no. In the latter, yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah, I know that someone was wearing an Alice in Wonderland costume that was certainly not authorized by Disney. One of the cast members had to ask the woman who was wearing it to pull her skirt down.
Hey, speaking of stuff that's banned in Walt Disney World, did you see the article about the 63-year-old grandmother who got caught trying to bring a loaded gun into the Magic Kingdom?
It's some knives, right? Wasn't it a knife?
And a knife, and a folded knife, yeah.
Well, look, Grandma's been having some hard times. I mean, she has to travel through South Central.
Have you seen those lines? Come on, how else are you get through?
But she was from like Mississippi. I'm like, what theme park in Mississippi do you need to pack heat when you're visiting? But here's the other thing I think, and I'm serious for a second. I mean, you would not typically think of a 63-year-old grandmother as the kind of person to bring a gun, which tells you that the Disney security guards really do a fairly thorough job of checking everyone's bags. That they could just as easily just given her a cursory glance and sent her on away. But the fact that they actually found it is good.
Well, I guess the security system is a great deterrent against the local gangs, but grandmas just aren't getting the message over there, and they just keep on trying to wheel it in over there with their bringing their sawed-offs in their in their little granny carts.
Exactly.
And Susan also wanted to know what kind of treats are provided. They have a multitude of treats. It's mostly like little mini snack-sized versions of your favorite candy bars, like Snickers and
right.
All kinds of little. There's a combination between chocolate and candy being offered over there, so nothing outrageous by any stretch of the imagination. Next question is from Michelle Whitman, who writes, "Hi guys, I find your show extremely funny and wish it was a bit longer. Yes, I love Lou's 3-day format. However, you're on 3 times a week, so I guess it all equals out in the end. Now on to my questions. Should you go to the left or the right when touring the Magic Kingdom when you're not following a plan due to low crowds or just being a rebel?"
It really depends on the attractions that you want to see. If you're sort of doing a classic, I want to see everything in one day, and you're not worried about visiting Dumbo, I would say counterclockwise starting in Tomorrowland. But there's also something to be said for starting in Frontierland. No, that's not really good.
We tried that. Actually, we did pretty well on that one time.
I did great on it on was it Friday? Friday. This last Friday, I was went in, and I was actually running late. I didn't actually get to the Magic Kingdom until 8 minutes before it opened, so I was actually behind all of the people who were past the turnstiles when the park actually, at 9 o'clock when the park opened.
Right.
Fortunately for me, they actually didn't do the rope drop at Adventureland or Liberty Square until like 9:05 to let people in. So I was able to hightail it over to Frontierland and be within the first 10 people who were there. And everyone but like 3 or 4 of us went over to Splash Mountain, which was down. It wasn't running. So I only had to beat like 3 people out to be the first person to ride Big Thunder on Friday, and I did. So I was the first person on. But it
when that one's down, Splash is down. Forget it, Big Thunder.
Yeah, forget. I mean, there's nothing to do on that side of the park.
Yeah.
But I was able to get on Big Thunder a couple of times. I saw Pirates. Then I went on the Tomorrowland Indy Speedway, which only had a 5-minute wait. I did Astro Orbiter that morning. We did Buzz, and there were no really major waits anywhere there. So doing that sort of crisscrossing the park thing wasn't bad either. I would say though, I mean, if you're not worried about crisscrossing the park, just go counterclockwise starting in Tomorrowland.
Find your favorite rides and go to them.
Yeah, exactly. There's that too.
And then worry about the other ones afterward.
Next email's from Dan, who writes, "My wife and I are coming down sometime next year. Could you give me your opinions of Port Orleans Riverside? How does it compare with the other moderate resorts?"
Everybody's at resort tonight.
I know everyone loves it. I would so rather not stay there than virtually any other moderate. And I think, I mean, in terms of the visual appeal, I like that. Oh, by the way, I'm laying on the ground now, like when John Lennon recorded, what was it, the Beatles' White Album.
Thanks for the description of the podcast situation.
Only I'm not stoned. So anyway,
Yeah.
Here's a mental image I'm gonna be left with. For
and I've got my feet up on the wall. So I don't love the resort. It's one of those things. I find the only appeal of French Quarter is that it's small. I don't really love New Orleans.
No, Riverside.
Okay, well, I'm ranting on the entire Port Orleans.
Oh, gotcha. Go ahead. Rant on.
Riverside is huge. Maybe it's because I live in the South and I don't find any of the Port Orleans Riverside stuff particularly charming because I live here already. It's like it's more of the same for me. But not to say it's bad, but it's not different from what I see every day, right? And I don't think the food court is that great. And the transportation is nothing special. I don't think the pool is that good either. I really like the pool at Coronado Springs better, especially the slide, and I like the food court better.
I see. I would rather say at French Quarter over Riverside. I would rate the moderates for me. It's French Quarter first. I'll put Riverside second, Caribbean Beach, and then Coronado. To tell you the truth.
Really, what don't you like about Coronado?
I think compared to the others, its location is a little remote, and
it's halfway between Epcot and the Animal Kingdom.
But the Port Orleans and the Caribbean Beaches Resort are more centrally located.
And you're walking to them?
Well, time is money. I don't have time to drive around and stop at that extra light. I want to be there.
The extra left you have to make.
That's right. That extra left always harasses me.
Oh, Lord.
Darn you, extra left turn.
You can always run it. I mean, by the way, so I'm coming back from Mousefest. The guy in front of me, how we always talk about going on the toll roads and not having that 50-cent exact change. What happens?
Yep.
But the guy in front of me gets to the toll booth, and you could see, like, he's got the brake light on. He puts his head down. You can see that he's frantically looking around for quarters. He puts the car in park because you see the brake lights flash white for a second, like he's put it in reverse and then put it in park.
Right.
He looks around. Finally, he just takes off, and the lights go click, 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 click. Like 16 different cameras take his pictures. So I pull up, and then there was actually somebody in the booth that she came out and she goes, that's a $150 fine, right? Or $100.
Wow.
I'm like, no, I didn't know that.
Oh, plus the toll.
Yeah, plus the 25-cent toll, exactly.
150.
So anyway.
I can't believe you did that, Chris. I mean, geez.
I know.
It's like toll next time.
And
I was wondering what that bill was.
I was talking to Don. I'm like, should I just go give the guy 50 cents? Because clearly that's what he needed. And just as I was looking around for the change, he spit off in his Lexus.
A Lexus, huh?
In a Lexus. Didn't have 50
You can
cents.
afford it then.
Exactly.
You can afford the 150.
Stick it to the man.
That's right. Last email of the day is going to be from Becky of Rockford, Illinois, who writes, "Hi, Walt Disney World Today crew.
No.
I just wanted..."
No.
What song is that?
What song is that?
The theme from the Rockford Files.
Oh, okay.
Obscure,
reference. I wanted to thank you guys for keeping me smiling and laughing during my long day at work. While Lou's podcast is longer, you guys have me rolling on the floor. I just hope my boss doesn't walk in on one of these days and finds me dying of laughter. Well, on to my question. I convinced the whole family to take a Western Caribbean Disney cruise in October 2008. Whole family meaning my parents, 2 sisters, and their husbands, and my 18-month-old nephew. I feel lost without the unofficial guide, ding, to help me plan our trip. So do you guys have any tips, tricks, or anything else that should not be missed on the cruise, on or off the ship? Thanks for feeding my Disney addiction. P.S. My husband and I are planning to go to Narcoossee's next time we go to the world, and go Packers.
Call me. Call me when you go.
To Narcoossee's?
Yeah. Oh, wait. My wife's got off.
All right, wait, hold on. So before we talk about this, let me tell one Mike Scopa story from Mousefest. We have time?
Go for it.
So we had a dinner at Ohana with a bunch of listeners from the show last Friday, and it went really, really well. But one of the things that we said we would do is we would pay for half the dinner as the show, coming from the show, and that the people who joined us for dinner would pay for the other half, each. So if dinner was $22, each person would pay $11, and then the show would pay $11. So I was the one who volunteered to do that, so I was perfectly happy paying the bill. So I go up to Scopa right before the dinner started, and I said, "Hey, Mike, you're the elder statesman for the show. Why don't you get up and tell everyone that instead of it being for me, that the show is paying for for dinner." And then I went and sit down. Scopa gets up, and I don't know if he was drunk or he was old or whatever.
Old.
A little
Senile?
senile,
A little, like clearly the Geritol had not kicked in. He gets up and he says, "Well, listen, we're here from WDW today, and we'd like to thank you all for coming. And oh, by the way, dinner's on us."
I know when he said that, I was like, I
was
go
like-
to the bathroom now.
I was like, "Really? It is?" Because I don't know what you clowns are picking up the other half.
So he paid for the rest of the night, huh?
No, I had actually told the waiter already that I was getting the bill. So, and then Scopa says, "Oh, by the way, Lynn's paid for everything." So the bill ended up being, do you know how much it was? Well,
I don't
because I told you.
Yeah.
Guess how much it was, Leopolis? 22 people.
20. Well, you're the math guy, and how many people were there?
22.
And it was like 20-something, 22 each.
Yeah, go ahead.
Add it up. I don't know, $15. See, I'm a cartoonist. I don't know how to add.
Ended up being just short of $800, like $790, $796. Yeah, so
Although you put your DDE on there and made up for about 8 DDE cards off that.
so my DDE card was $65, and I just on that meal alone I saved $130 dollars.
Okay, well,
But anyway.
Did
anyway,
your wife kill you when you got back to the room and
I was like, I didn't know that was gonna happen. So there's a brief discussion on it. Yes.
Yeah,
Did you better enjoy the meal at least?
Yeah, it was great. It was really good to see everyone and everything.
Is it $800 worth?
For $800, somebody better be naked. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know what was going on at the other end of the table, but clearly nothing of that kind was going on at the party.
Right?
So anyway, back to the listener question. What was it about?
Any tips, tricks, or anything for the cruise? One of the best resources that I can recommend. Len, you have a chapter in the book, I know, on the cruise line.
Yeah, there's also a Passporter book on.
That's what I was going to suggest. Yeah, the Passporter book is fantastic.
I would pick up one of those.
I'll put a link in the show notes. It's really there's really no other resources out there that are nearly as complete as the Passporter guide. So I'll put a link there, and you definitely check that out. Well, that is it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of Walt Disney World Today is being sponsored by MEI and MouseFan Travel, who specialize in cruises and vacation packages to Disney and other destinations around the world. MEI and MouseFan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner and the recommended travel planner for allears.net. They provide their signature services with no additional agency fees. To get a no-obligation quote, why don't you visit www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Chris Eliopoulos, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Dinner's on the land!